right. Did you believe Emmett when he was walking pregame and we wished him happy belated birthday, and he basically let us know he was going to do something special? Like, did you see that performance coming?
I mean, I don't know if I saw 176 and over 8 yards of carry, but I mean, he just has that confidence, and I think the way that and as much as we give a lot of credit to Emmett Johnson, you also have to give credit to the 3 interior offensive linemen. They're really good at run blocking and just opening up. Just give him a little bit of space, and he's so good at reading it now. And I asked him that after the game, so we talked to him right after, and then Dylan was doing TV, and so we came back, and then by the time, they had cleared off the field quickly. They had gone in the locker room, and then they came right back out. But Keith is like, wrap it up. So I only had like 2 questions with Emmett. So then I went back and talked to him like longer for the locker room show. And I asked him about that, and he just said, oh, I'm seeing it so much different now. Like, I can see things happening in a way that like I haven't the 2 years before. So I think if once those 3 up front that are really, really good at that, give him just a little bit of space, he can see it and he can go. And then he is so tough and relentless, and he's not going to go down. He's not going to be an easy tackle. And so he's got so much confidence right now. And somebody commented on, I think it was on the interview, that the only person that never doubted Emmett was Emmett, and I mean, I go back to, I interviewed him in high school. He wasn't recruited, and he had a lot of belief in himself, even throughout the whole process of he wasn't playing, he had a red shirt, then he wasn't the starter. I mean, he still had a lot of belief in himself. As frustrated as he might have been, he knew what he could do. And I think he had the talent, and he had the ability, but then it was also then developed even then some with Coach Rhule, Coach Holgorsen, the staff, EJ, Barthel. And so it's what a great story. And yeah, no, I'm not surprised with anything Emmett does anymore, because he's at that level right now where when he believes he can do something, he's going to go do it.
Jess, as you kind of go into this Friday game, obviously EJ's big storyline going home. What else? I'm not going to ask you to give away your pick to click or anything, but like, who are some of the other guys that are?
Yeah, who did you? I know who. I remember.
Kind of catching your attention.
Remember.
I took Luke Lindemeyer. So I think he's going to continue to be. I think now that we know what the offense looks like, the guys that are going to always be a part and then even look. I think we've seen Luke kind of become Dylan's security blanket a little bit in some situations. I mean, some plays that had broken down, who was a couple times, it was Luke Lindemeyer that Dylan ends up finding. So I think he's going to continue to be that guy for this offense. And, especially if they try to go quick passing game, I think I can see Luke having a big day. I feel like all those wide receivers. I talked to Isaiah Hunter for the Cornhusker conversation.
Isn't he something?
Yeah, he's great, but he's another guy that's got a lot of confidence. He told me a funny story, by the way. I'm going completely off track, but apparently your boy Quinn Clark and Keelan Smith had a barbecue, and for the wide receivers, just the wide receiver group. And they called Dane and they said, hey, can you just pick up some stuff from Hy-Vee? And Dane's like, well, what do you need? And he goes, well, we don't have anything. So Dane had to get the burgers, the hot dogs, the buns, everything. And he's like, how are you going to have a cookout and not have any of the stuff? So Dane gets it. Then he gets over there. Then he's like, okay, who's cooking? And they're like, I don't know who's cooking. So then Dane had to cook. Then Dane had to grill. So then they finish grilling and they have the stuff they're ready. And they're like, okay, where's your ketchup and mustard? They're like, oh, we don't have any of that.
So Quinn does not surprise me at all. He's eaten with us. You think I'm a child? Quinn he's got to be super spoiled because he can't do anything.
But apparently Dane's grill skills are pretty impressive.
It's hot dogs and burgers. You got to be Ravi to not be able to cook that.
Listen, I won't eat burgers at people's houses a lot of times because they mess them up, man. It's harder. A lot of people screw up burgers on the grill.
Yeah, I don't know. Let me ask, Jess, you said something really poignant for once. There's like 6 and some change to go. Nebraska hasn't even gone on that field goal drive yet, and you're like, DB, Butler has got these guys over here. What'd you say with like these situational defensive packages in case Nebraska has to get a stop late? Do you remember how much time was on the clock when you told me that?
It was during
it was more than 6 minutes, right?
Yeah, so I was standing, they were at least closer to at least I think they might have been in the red zone of the field goal drive because I was standing on that end.
Okay.
And so he and Terry Braden were acting like they were the offensive linemen, and Cam and Desan were like doing what John Butler wanted them to do. Like he was showing them what to do when they were going to draw it up. So yeah, it was. He
was already kind of envisioning a last second game saving drive.
They kicked the field goal at 7:47. So probably somewhere in like the 8 to 9 minute mark.
Yeah, because when you said that, I was like, can we just get a next stop? Like I remember, like in my head, as you're telling me what situationally they want to do, I was like, we just need to stop.
But if you don't get the stop on that next drive for Maryland, that's exactly the spot you're in, right?
Yeah, I mean, and good on them because that's exactly what had to happen late in the game, right?
I don't know if it ended up being because I mean, again, I don't. It's hard to tell exactly like what, but I don't know if it ended up being what they went to in the drive where, the one that went out of bounds, it was intentional grounding. I don't know if it ended up being that play, but if they ended up utilizing it on that drive. But yeah, they were scheming some stuff up. They were cooking it up on the sideline.
Mm-hmm. When you're listening to him Coach Butler yesterday, and we get it, like he's pretty dialed. He says, I don't know. I respect them to run the ball. I mean, it's us. Why wouldn't you? Is it for me? It's kind of cool how they've embraced that. They think that teams think that that's the sentiment, and they're trying to rise to the occasion. Right?
Well, we said it. Yeah, we said it last week against Maryland. Maryland is not a team that ran the football, and yet they all week were talking about we have to stop the run. Like they knew that Maryland was going to try to get to that, and I think and it might have been a little bit more of an off day for the pass defense, but they've shown what they can do. And so I don't think teams are going to try to throw it as much against the secondary. And as much as the defensive line has been a work in progress, I mean, I think they know that that's what teams are going to try to do to also be able to control the tempo a little bit and probably try to keep Nebraska's offense off the field. I think there are multiple reasons why teams probably want to try to run the ball against Nebraska. But yeah, I think they know that at this point, with as good as they are on the back end, that teams are going to try to do it by running it down their throats. And so and they're not, they know that, and they're preparing for it. And it's a young group that I think they continue to get more and more comfortable and confident. And, they've, I think, they're not taking offense to it by any means, or it's not like it's hurting their confidence. It's just like, hey, it is what it is. Our guys, they're excited and really want to brag on the guys that are playing behind them and the job that they've done up until this point. And so I think they know how good those defensive backs have been, that's where can we attack? And so I think they just see it as a challenge and want to continue to get better to be able to, hold up their end of the bargain.
Jess, you brought up a couple interesting points there that I hadn't heard very many people talk about, where, when we talk about teams wanting to run the ball against Nebraska, it's always about, hey, Nebraska's run defense is bad. Their run defense is bad. Their run defense is bad. But the pass defense is really, really good. So you want to do anything besides that, right?
Yeah.
And then I hadn't really thought about, hey, maybe like teams want to shorten games so that they don't have to deal. Like Nebraska's offense has been good.
That's a decent point.
Yeah. They have been. I mean, it used to be something that when I was at Oklahoma, teams did all the time because those offenses at Oklahoma were so explosive that they were trying to keep, they would try. When it wasn't like a complete shootout, it was, hey, I think Baylor, when Coach Rhule was at Baylor tried to do it, I mean, so when you have those types of offenses that or have a very good chance of scoring every single time they get the ball, well, what's sometimes your best defense is a offense that can slow it down and give them less possessions. So I kind of feel like teams might try to do that a little bit more, especially the teams that rely on like a Minnesota and Iowa, those types of teams. Like, okay, let's just shorten this game, not give that offense much of a chance, because even the times that they haven't scored in the red zone, they've moved it, or they've put themselves in a position to score. And it's only a matter of time before Nebraska starts getting that figured out. I mean, they have the personnel, they have the weapons, the offensive line is starting to gel. And so that's pretty scary, I think, for opposing defenses. And so I think it's twofold. I think we don't want to throw against Nebraska's defense, but we also, if we can find a way to prevent that offense from getting out there as much as possible, let's try that too.
You guys, both of you, I told Ravi when you kind of went down the laundry list this offseason of Coach Holgorsen's offensive prowess, and then Ravi took a deep dive on points per game. So probably neither one of you are surprised, but if I told you that Nebraska's up almost 10 full points in conference play at 33 points per game on offense, you're probably like, yeah, and it should be more, or wow, that's pretty good for conference play.
No, and I also think that Coach Holgorsen, I mean, maybe if you look at it, you'd think, oh, it should be more. But I think he's evolved to what is needed for the Big Ten and for this offense and this team specifically. I mean, people want to say, oh, it's the air raid, he's going to fly it out. But it's not that. And I even talked to Coach Shorts about that, like the week that they got hired at the bowl preparations. He's like, it's not the air raid. It's taking advantage of what the defense gives you and utilizing your personnel. But I also think he just knows that it's a different kind of game than what the Big 12 was and some of the places that he's been where you had to just light up the scoreboard. But so I think he's evolved to where they might not score. What was the average that he's averaged? What were the points per game?
So it was different as a head coach versus an offensive coordinator. As an offensive coordinator, he was pretty much always over 40.
Yeah.
The head coach, he was much closer to like 34, 35.
Yeah. I mean, he knows that like that's not the kind of game that wins in the Big Ten. And so he's changed that, but I'm not surprised at all that it's up. And I'm not surprised either that it's down from where it's been from previous places that he's been.
I think because I was trying to project what it looked like.
He'd never been lower than 51st.
Yes.
And total.
And I think that number was like 33 points per game that year.
Yeah.
But the thing I was trying to project.
And they're 15th in points per game right now.
Yeah, because they're over 40 still. I think
they're like 37.
Are they just under now?
Yeah.
So the thing I was trying to project was like, okay, if Nebraska can get to X number of points per game, and that puts them in the top 40 or 50 in the country, what does that translate to in terms of who those teams are and how much they win? And if they got to, I think, 29, almost everybody in that range won at least 8 games.
Yeah, that's what you did.
So I looked and I go, okay, if Nebraska's offense just goes from, like, let's be honest, pretty pedestrian.
They needed 6 more points per game.
Yeah, basically they needed 6 to 7 more points a game to go from 6-6 to 8-4, 9-3. And we've gotten 10 more per game?
Yeah.
And what's interesting too about that stat is that if you look at those teams that probably were at the top, they didn't win the national championship. Like the offenses that were that were number one in the country during that time, they weren't winning. I mean, because Oklahoma was one of those. They made it to the college football playoff, and then they couldn't play defense, so they couldn't get past that first round. And so I think there were a lot of teams like that during that stretch where, yeah, you're scoring 45, 50 points a game, but you can't get to the pinnacle because I just don't think you win games like that. And I think Coach Holgorsen, obviously, I think he recognizes that too here at Nebraska. Like some of the games that you want to win, you can't win it like that. And so that's where he's evolved too. And I think he's talked a lot about that too, just, understanding how to win in this conference. But I'd be interested to see if you went back, like during those stretches, those teams that were in the top 5, I don't know if any of them won the national title in terms of like offensive scoring.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think just off the top of my head, trying to remember here, I think most of the really, really good teams were between
ranked, you crack statistician,
ranked like 10th and 30th. So they were good, but they weren't that.
You got to have a balance. It's got to be balanced,
Well, and the other thing is, you notice when you look at those lists a lot of them are non-Power 5 schools at the very top. You get a lot of kind of randos in there.
Like SMU.
Yeah, you just get some super random schools in there, or like Hawaii used to be in there all the time, or whoever, right? Or you end up with teams like the Kingsbury Texas Tech teams, where they're just constantly having to score 60 points to be in a game.
Yep.
So, Jess, because you're close to it all the time, how much do you think with Coach Eckler and special teams that the way he thinks and how positive he is affects everybody else? Or when you're down there, is it kind of just a special teams thing? Like, do you think his vibe trickles down?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he celebrates everybody. When the defense gets a big stop, he's fired up. When the offense scores, he's fired up. But I also like to, yes, he's very much, it's been really impressive just to hear the process of the special teams too. And just the all that goes into it and the amount of film, I said this last night on Sports Nightly, but we talk a lot about, the offensive coordinator to the defensive coordinator being able to watch film and recognize some areas that they can take advantage of on the opponent side of things. And Coach Eckler's now done that with special teams. It's not just been about, we're going to do what we do. No, we're going to find ways that we can take advantage of the opponent. And, we saw it with the punt block and touchdown and then the kickoff return, those 2 weeks in a row that they saw something that they practiced, they spoke into existence, and then it ended up happening. And a lot of that is just the attention to the detail, the film study. And it's not just Coach Eckler and then coaching it. The same way that when I walk through that facility, a lot of times you'll see the different position coaches in their offices breaking down film with like the players in their rooms. It's the same thing with special teams. Like Coach Eckler watches film with guys and like breaks things down with them. And so I think, and then just on the sideline, he will talk with people when if something bad happened, he will come over and have a conversation. And then when something good happens, he will obviously celebrate. But those in between where it wasn't like anything spectacular happen or anything like awful happen, he kind of allows the guys to do their thing. And like they go over to the iPads and they're kind of going through it themselves. And so they've really taken a lot of pride, I think, on themselves, which again goes back to the core and the principles of what Coach Rhule wants out of this team is being a player-led team. And so he'll step in when he needs to, but then he also allows for those guys that have taken a lot of pride in the roles that they're playing. Like they come right over and they're like, all right, I assume it's like, okay, if this guy gets this block, this is where we can. So they know like, okay, the kickoff return for a touchdown or whatever, like, hey, we were close to that. Where did we miss? And then they talk about it on the sideline together as a group. And then they adjust as need be the next time they're out there. But he's not always in on those conversations, which I think speaks volumes. Again, going back to that player-led, mentality, but then also just the pride that these guys are taking on their roles on these special teams units. And it's all of them. It's not just one or two. It's literally all four of those units are doing this kind of the same thing and really making sure that, hey, when we get out there and do our job, we're doing it the best of our ability. In the same way that everybody else goes back and looks at immediately at that film on the iPad, the special teams guys are doing the exact same thing.
He almost willed me. I felt like trash Thursday night and Friday morning. We were getting on the elevator at the same time Thursday night. He almost willed me into feeling better just because he basically told me it was a mindset. And I was like, I don't know if this is going to work. I kind of felt like Coach Rhule, like, all right, just say hi. Like, my day is fine. It's just his personality, man. He's
so funny on the sideline. Like, he's told me a couple different things. Like, so when your team was being honored,
yeah,
and they were running out on the tunnel walk, he came up to me. He's like, I just went up to those guys and I told them before, hey, we got a COVID year for you guys. Suit up.
Yeah, he's like nuts.
Jess, I think I need you to lobby for us here. Let's see if we can get Eckler on Coordinator Tuesdays.
What? Well, he is going to be on the show tonight with Kyle.
Okay, there we go.
on
Nice.
Sports Nightly.
Okay.
So
We want him in a
Coach
little bit
Eckler's
more.
not even like what?
We want him in a little bit more controlled atmosphere. We don't want to throw him to the masses.
Well, no, it's just the offense, defense kind of coordinators that speak, just kind of what the deal is. But I think he's okay with it. Like that's what I think is really cool about him too, is that he just wants to be part of the team and he doesn't want to be out there. What a cool guy. And you understand why everybody loves him as much as he does. I mean, I asked Will Compton about him. Will Compton's like, well, I said, why is he so successful? He's like, well, first and foremost, he's psycho. He's an absolute psychopath.
He's very unassuming in their team setting, like traveling to and from the lobbies. Like,
for as loud as he seems, he is one that's very much okay with being like, let me fall in line type of guy.
Yep. I think that's his like superpower.
He's
hard to be both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Jess, we'll have a good time this weekend up in Minnesota. Try and make sure DB gets to the right stadium the first time, and let's see what we can do.
You think this will be the week that you can handle it on your own?
I'll try. I mean, are we going to why? Like, what's the problem?
Jess, I think you should just be in charge of the Ubers.
No,
I feel like it might be time for you to spread your wings and fly a little bit,
Oh.
So we are or we aren't? Just tell me now. We are or aren't all going over together?
I'm assuming all together, probably.
Okay. They made it seem like it was a me thing.
No, that's probably for the best. Just want to make
Ask her why she ordered a compact car for.
I didn't.
Yeah, you gotta get that. You gotta get that Uber XL.
I did. I thought I pushed that button, and then I don't know. Somehow it ended up being a tiny car that pulled up. I'm like, I pushed the XL, and then the other two times I did. So
do they have Uber Black in Minneapolis?
I don't know.
Oh, that's the fancy one. You got to get like a Lincoln Navigator or something,
Hey, Jess, before we get you out of here, what do you think happens up front on the O-line?
What do you mean?
Starting.
Who's starting? I think it'll be the same. I think it'll be, unless Pritchett got dinged up. I know he was dinged up in practice last week, and he was listed as questionable. He looked fine during warmups. But I know that Turner Corcoran came in, but I think they're going to roll with what they got at this point, with Gatula on right and Pritchett at left, unless Pritchett's hurt.
That might be my favorite part of the broadcast, which isn't even going out over the air. It's getting all the information you get in pregame. That we should do like an inside.
Yeah, you think you'd listen to me like when I'm trying to tell you who 47 is?
Oh wow. We almost made it through the goddamn segment.
So, yes, if it makes you feel any better, our colleague Avery listens to your guys' broadcast while she's doing the thing or whatever, and so I guess they weren't the only ones confused about who 47 was. I guess everybody in the press box was like, "Who's 47? Gage Stanger's hurt. That's not Gage Stanger. Who is that?" And Avery's like, "Hey, it's Caleb." And then they're like, wait, who is it? And they just were like, hey, I think she said it 3 times before. I was like, oh, it's Caleb.
Oh, now you sound like what she's going to say.
Yeah, no, I tried to tell him because I saw him put the 47 on him. And then, yeah, they were like, who's 47?
Before the kick return, you must have said it super quick. I hear everything that you say.
No, here's what so you don't like. I can tell you don't like when I talk when you're talking. Kyle doesn't, he can do it. He doesn't mind because he's used to it with the producer in his ear. So when you started talking, so I was like, Caleb is wearing, and then you said something. So I stopped and then I said 47. So apparently people heard me say 47, but they didn't hear me say Caleb is wearing.
Oh, I got you.
Well, now we know. We got to cover
it now. Goes, and she's laughing to herself. In my ear, she goes, I told you it was Caleb. I was like, I didn't hear a word you said.
And I talked to Caleb after the game. He was like, really, Dad? Really, Dad? Maybe you should tell your dad.
I would say he also could have relayed that information at some point.
Like, you know him. He's not saying it.
No, but at least he video bombs all of our pregame segments now.
You see everybody coming before I do. We need to change how you position me.
No, because I gotta have the mic in my right hand because I'm right-handed.
You saw Emmett coming. You see everything before. My back is always to the guys.
Yeah.
Well, I can tell it's breaking you up.
I was gonna
inside.
say she seems really upset about it. That's Jessica.
I'm not changing.
From Husker Radio Network. Jess, appreciate the time as always. Enjoy Minnesota.
All right. Have a good day. Bye, Shane.